mainstream media, the left going apoplectic over what Donald Trump has been doing overseas in Europe right now, vis-a-vis NATO. They're calling him a bully. They're saying this is unprecedented. No, he's not a bully. He's doing work on behalf of the American people. Unprecedented, yes. This is leadership. They haven't seen it for about 8 or so years during the Obama years. This is long overdue.
There's no question about that, Graham. It just shows how effective this president is. He knows how to negotiate. He gets right to the point. He overshoots in his negotiations, and $33 billion he's coming away from the table. We're richer by $33 billion. So, in spite of all the pomp and ceremony and the indignant allies and some of the bad PR that they've tried to pile on our president, we have come away from the table $33 billion that we don't have to spend. The American taxpayer and our defense umbrella has been over these allies for decade after decade. Hey, I served over there. I was in the Air Force in Germany back in the late 70s. And so I can tell you that when you have one of the wealthiest countries like Germany just paying barely over half of what they are supposed to be paying, they're supposed to be paying 2% of their GDP, and they're paying about 1.2 or 1.3. I think Trump's doing a great job. He's going to do the same thing in trade, and I'm real proud of the president. And NATO is a very valuable association of allies, and it's going to be something better. I think what you said, Graham, a second ago, this is the beginning of a new era in NATO, is very accurate. Very glad to see it.
A couple more points on this, Congressman. Number one, I don't believe that the president is isolating the United States. It's exactly the opposite. He's telling the rest of the free world to catch up and get on the same page with the United States. Again, this is about leadership, but I think there's also a Russia component here. I think that this is about Russia, and the president has said so in a tweet. And he said, Congressman, in part, Germany just started paying Russia, the country they want protection from, billions of dollars for their energy needs coming out of a new pipeline from Russia. Not acceptable. All NATO nations must meet their 2% commitment, and that must ultimately go to 4%. Donald Trump, in his own unmatched way, is actually strengthening NATO during this process.
He is. There is no question about it. He is strengthening the NATO alliance. Germany is being very hypocritical when they sign an $11 billion or so deal with Russia, who we're paying to protect and defend Germany from. And so it makes absolutely no sense. I'm glad the president is doing what he did. Again, it's been very effective. And now President Trump is going over to talk to President Putin, and I think this may bear some fruit as well. I would certainly tell, if he was listening to me, I would advise the president to be careful, watch your back. I think Russia and the old Soviet Union and Putin himself, they're pretty cagey folks, and you can't trust them. But we do have common interests, and I think the president is wise to be going and talking to Mr. Putin and see if we can join together on some of the common interests that we do have. Like radical Islam and some of the other issues that we have common interests in.
And I think to kind of punctuate this, President Reagan carried the torch of liberty globally. I think President Trump carries a flamethrower. The similarities are there. They just kind of execute it in different ways. Now, 3,500 miles.
And carry a big flamethrower.
Oh yeah, right. 3,500 miles to the west, in Washington, D.C., you have FBI agent Peter Strzok testifying before joint committees of Congress. And I have to scratch my head. I was watching as much as I could today. He's very sure of himself, very smug. Yet at the same time, he tells us that he sends text messages that he can't remember sending, specifically ones that attack the president and call him vicious names. How can your colleagues take this guy seriously? On the one hand, he's saying he's so sure of himself over here that he was not biased in his investigation, and these were all partitioned by some sort of personal curtain that he put up. Yet at the same time, he says he doesn't remember things, and then he's also trying to say that he can't answer certain things that the FBI legal counsel is telling him not to answer. How can we take this guy seriously?
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.